Hello. When you think about it, your nose is really just a mountain on your face, and the sides of your nose are like a valley. There's a little pit where your eye is, your lips come out like little mountains as well. You could really break the whole face down, almost like it's its own little world of mountains and valleys. And when you think about the human face like that, it makes it a lot easier to draw, to paint, and to shade. Because when light hits a mountain, like the top of the nose, it creates a light spot. And when light goes down into a valley, it gets darker and creates a shadow. So all you have to do to paint a face is figure out which parts of the face stick out and paint them light, and which parts of the face go in and paint them dark. It's that easy. Let's get started. Before we paint the face, we must first paint the background. For this painting, I'm going to be using only the color yellow, along with white and black. That way I can focus on my highlights and shadows and take color out of the equation for the most part. For my background color, I'm going to mix up a grayish yellow and take a dip of water and then kind of dab that around the page so that it's evenly dispersed and spread it in. You want your background layer to be thin and quick. Using a medium brush and pure yellow paint, I'm going to map out the shape of my face, starting with a circle. This circle represents the top of the head, where your brain is. Then I'll draw some straight lines coming down off the side of that circle. These represent the upper part of your jaw. Some diagonal lines at the bottom. This represents the lower jaw coming into the chin. And then I'll fill in that face shape outline. I'm also going to add the lines for the neck coming down just inside of the jaw. And the lines for the shoulder as well, sloping downwards, starting about at chin height. Don't drive yourself too crazy trying to get your head and neck shape perfect. As long as you have a head shape, a neck, and some shoulders, you're still going to be able to put the highlights and shadows on there just fine, and it's going to look great. But you do need to fill in that entire base layer with whatever color you're using. For my painting, it's yellow. Once you've created your base shape for your head, you're going to begin to identify where the shadow areas are. I'm going to use my medium brush and black paint. I'm going to go around and create a black line anywhere where there's going to be a shadow on this face, anywhere where the face dips in. Your face dips in dramatically at the jaw, so I'm going to put a black line there. I'm also going to put a line going up the right side of the face. That's going to be the shadow side of my face. Underneath the eyebrows is a dark shadow, a little indentation in your face where your eye socket is. I show the line underneath the lower eyelid as well. The valleys on either side of the nose and at the bottom of the nose. The valley between the lips. And the valley underneath the lower lip. There are little valleys underneath your cheekbones as well. So I'm going to put a little mark there to show where that dip below the cheekbone is. Maybe just a little bit more shadow on the shadow side of the forehead. And those are all the major shadows of the face. Now I'm going to blend them in. We don't want lines in painting. We want faded shadows, smooth gradients. So I'm going to use a smaller brush and fade those dark lines down, fading them into the base layer yellow. I've got a paper towel on hand so that as I fade, I can wipe any extra black paint off onto that paper towel and make nice smooth fades, not allowing the black paint to take over. You may need to add more black paint, especially at the jawline. This is one of the darkest shadows on the face, underneath the jaw. So I'm really making a nice dark shadow there. In other areas, you may need to add more yellow paint to tone down a shadow, not allow it to take over, and let that black paint more easily fade into the yellow base layer of the face. I almost forgot the ears. Let me add those real quick. And then give them just a little bit of shadow to indicate the insides of the ear and the little valleys in there. And now, this face is ready for the highlights. A medium brush and white paint, and then draw white lines on any part of the face that sticks out. The top of the eyebrow, the top of the forehead, the bridge of the nose, the nostrils, the cheekbones, the eyelids, the lips, the chin, the light side of the neck and the shoulder. Those are all the mountains of the face. And then I'm going to begin to blend these in, doing the same thing that I did with the shadows. Taking a brush and fading those highlights into the base layer of the face. After you've faded in your highlights, you may need to go back in and add some of the shadows again. I lost the shadow between my lips, so I'm going to add that back. I'm also going to add a thin black line to show where the eyelids close. I decided to have the eyes closed in this painting so that it didn't look like the guy was too creepy and staring at you. And there you have a finished face with some highlights and shadows. You paint your background, you paint your head shape, paint lines where the shadows go, blend them in. Paint lines where the highlights go, blend them in. And you'll have a beautiful 3D looking face showing all the mountains and the valleys. Pretty fun, pretty cool. Let's get started. It's your turn.